Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday night, and that means it's time for another edition of Spotlight, presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. My name is Craig Smolders, joined as always by Rob Young. Good evening, Rob. How are you tonight?
Great, Craig. Glad to see this nice, dry, warm weather. Looks like we're going to go racing this weekend.
Yeah, we're ready to go. We got some track prep going on. Henry was out there yesterday doing some stuff on the track, some sheep's footing and stuff like that. So the track's looking pretty good. He's going to do some watering tomorrow. So I think we're going to be ready to go for the busy week and then the weekend to finish it off. But I think we're going to be ready to go. What do you think, Rob? Are you looking forward to it, or what's going on?
I am. You know what? You get the it's kind of like first day of school, isn't it? You know, you prepare, you buy all your new clothes and your books and everything like that, and you show up and you go from there. You solve any problems that might pop up, and yep, I'm ready. I'm ready for that new the first day of school.
Yep, absolutely. I put a lot of time and effort into prepping for it, and now the season is here, and I'm extremely nervous. I won't lie. I'm ready. I'm excited, but I'm nervous at the same time. So I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but that's how I feel. So that's what you're gonna get out of me. Anyways, tonight on to our interview, because we do have an interview, and I'm not it, and you're not it. We're going to be talking to one of the head dudes from the OTS, the Ontario Traditional Sprints. They're going to be coming down to see us on Friday night. So make sure, fans, you're coming out to see the Ontario Traditional Sprints on Friday night, this Friday. That's going to kick off our season for us. But we are talking tonight to Kenny Bayliss. Like I said, he's one of the head dudes at the OTS, so he's going to fill us in on everything that we need to know. But before we get to that, I just want to do a quick rundown like I do each and every Monday night. So fans or drivers, make sure you are reaching out to Lauren Bonner. Get in on the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Junior Fan Facebook page. Go over there. I know there's some posts where you can comment on whatever dates you want. Sprint drivers, we're also looking for you guys too. So if you want to get in on that for whatever date you're coming down to see us, make sure you either reach out to Lauren Bonner, she's the coordinator of the Junior Fan Club, or like I said, click over to the Facebook page, and there's all kinds of posts in there for you guys to look at. Also, this Friday and Saturday night for our opening weekend, we are going to be doing a food drive, so make sure you're bringing canned goods. That's both Friday and Saturday. We'll have an area set up for you to drop off your canned goods. The food banks are desperate right now. They could use our help. So if you're coming out to the racetrack this weekend, please bring a canned good and drop that in the box for us. Also, this weekend we are having our Thunderstock Clash. That's a 2-day event for our Thunderstocks. Huge class of Thunderstocks this year. So that's going to be a lot of good racing. So make sure, and $500 extra on the line for the most points for the weekend for both nights. So make sure you're coming out to check out all of that. Now, let us get to our interview. Let us get Kenny Bayliss in here, and let's have a little chat. Good evening, Mr. Kenny Bayliss, sir. How are you tonight?
Well, just doing fantastic. Hi, Craig. Hi, Rob. I've been looking forward for this for months.
You have been. Well, we're excited to have you, and we're excited that you're excited to be here. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with the off season. What's keeping you busy? What's keeping you occupied? What's going on over there for you, Kenny Bayliss?
Oh, well, how long have we got?
Well, we like to keep the intros to about 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, yeah, I got the good pleasure to be part of Scott Shirk's sprint car team this year. And I'm building a new car for myself. It's not going to be ready till 2023, but at least we started on it. And just really looking forward to our first race Friday night there. And hopefully we get lots of cars coming out and, put on a great show for the fans.
Absolutely. Rob, do you have anything you want to add to that before we get going here?
Well, because around here we deal more with street stocks, mini stocks, late models, and modifieds. But as far as sprint cars are concerned, Kenny, you drive a wingless sprint car, which it is what it is. What they say, it's a sprint car without the wing on it. So you don't have all that extra downforce. Maybe to help out some of the listeners and know a little bit about sprint car racing. there's the, as I said, there's the wing sprints, there's the non-wing sprints. They have lots of different motor combinations, but the whole thing behind a sprint car is it's a little 1,400-pound race car with, in some cases, 900 horsepower. These are fuel-injected engines running on methanol. Again, just to let some of the listeners know that they're very exciting. They're loud and they're obnoxious, and they got to be a handful to drive. I have a little.
They can be, yes.
Yeah, I have a 48-inch tractor that I pretend it's a sprint car when I'm cutting the grass, and it's a thrill. So tell us a little bit about the thrill of sprint car racing.
Well, if you're going to jump in a sprint car, you really want to race, because they're, like you said, they're very light, very powerful, and there's no clutch, no transmission. You step on the gas, you're going. And when you get to the end of the straightaway, you better know what you're doing, or hopefully have some idea of which way you're going to point that thing. The wing cars will typically, the drivers can keep their foot to the floor a little bit more than a non-wing car because of the downforce the wing provides. But the non-wing car, it's not that much slower, really. Sometimes the straightaway speeds are the same. It all depends on track conditions and how well the team has set up their car, how much traction they get, and that kind of thing. So they're both quite a handful of a car to drive.
Yeah, I think Craig's probably got something on his agenda there to ask you.
Absolutely. Let's go going here. I guess the first thing I'd like to know, Kenny, is as young child, was racing always it for you, or are you into other sports, hockey, baseball, whatever else was going on there, or was it always pretty strictly racing for you?
Oh, well, I can remember, like, I'm 65, so this is going back 60 years. This is before the government ever mandated seatbelts or anything like that. I can remember standing in the back seat of my parents' car, whatever it was, looking out the back window of the car and getting excited at some hot rod that was following us. And I know I was only 5 years old, and that kind of lit a little bit of a bug. And then my sister, unbeknownst to me, started dating a stock car racer, and somewhere around 8 or 9 years old, every Friday and Saturday night we were off to the races just to watch this guy. And of course I fell in love with the whole thing. And I think around 9 years old I started playing hockey, but it just didn't, it was something to do in the winter. And then I only did it till I was about 11 years old. I didn't like it. The coach expected you to do stuff and you'd sweat, and it wasn't all that much fun. The other guys in the other hockey team wanted to fight you, and over this silly little black thing that we swatted around. Racing's always been it. About 11 years old, I fell in love with flat track motorcycle racing. And my parents both used to ride bikes. My dad had 11 different Harley Davidsons in the 1930s and the 1940s. And I guess it was just a natural draw. I fell in love with bikes and, got numerous bikes when I was a kid, growing into a teenager and that. And then, would hold our own races with friends and always doing something with motorcycles. And then I actually got involved with the Canadian Motorcycle Association at 20 years old and started racing at Welland Speedway and some of the half-mile tracks around Ontario and Quebec. And I did that for 3 or 4 years. And then my other passion was I wanted to be a trucker. And I sold all my race bikes off and went trucking and did that till, 1993 or 94. And then I went back and flat tracked again for a few years and got hurt really bad up in Three Rivers, Quebec in 1994. My family told me I was too old to do this anymore, and they made me quit, and it broke my heart. And I thought life was over, but in 1996, the Southern Ontario Sprint started up, and I got involved with them. I got asked to be an official and started building my own car. And between trucking and racing and building my own sprint car, I finally got the car out in 2002. So yeah, it's always been racing. It's, how do you quit? How do you stop that passion? It's just there's nothing to fill that void if it gets out of your life.
Yep.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, Kenny, I was just a little bit curious. You said you did some trucking. Did you do long haul trucking? Is that what you were doing?
I did it all. I went all over most. Sorry.
I was just curious, when you were doing the long haul trucking, were you seeking out racetracks and watching races, or were you just on the road and you didn't have time to kind of?
Well, it's hard to get time off when you're actually trucking. I remember one company I worked for hauled flatbed, and every Friday we would load rail car axles and wheels, like complete assemblies. They'd roll these things on your trailer and you'd tie them down, and those loads would go to National Steel Car in Hamilton, Ontario for the next day. So we'd always get them Friday afternoon, Friday night. That particular company that would load those wheels and axles onto our flatbed trailers was about 10 minutes from Williams Grove Speedway.
Oh, nice.
Every Friday, I would just beg the guys load the truck. I said, break the truck, do something to it so it can't go.
Jeez, that's tough, eh? 10 minutes away.
And they never would, no, this load's got to be there Monday morning. I said, it'll still be there Monday morning. Just, let's do something so that it won't move today.
Yeah. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, I'm just going to go back to his flat track racing there. A friend of mine used to do that, and he made his own. It was like a tin shoe. It was all brazed together for his left foot, because that's what he would plant on the ground. But it was made out of tin, and it seemed to be that was what the guys did. They custom made their own. It wasn't a boot. It was this tin shoe. I thought that was pretty cool.
It just slips over your boot, and it's usually formed out of some kind of mild steel, and they'll use the toe cap out of a steel toe boot. That's the part that goes over your toe, and then they have a piece cut and formed for the bottom of the steel shoe. And then usually some kind of a nickel welding compound gets laid on the bottom of it because it's slippery and durable. And then you use some kind of strap to tie it around your ankle so it stays on. I used to use a dog collar to hold my steel shoe on my boot.
Yeah, it gets kind of that. It's like your left front wheel. It helps you feel your way through the turn, and it gives you that the buoyancy, and not buoyancy, but it gives you the stability that you need.
It's you're not really pushing your foot down hard into the track. You're just skimming it along the surface to try to give you a gauge of how far the motorcycle's leaning over and what's going on. And it's you don't think about it, you just feel it.
Yeah.
And then if you take your right knee, because you're always turning left, you take your right knee and just lay that on the side of the fuel tank. That tells you as you're going in the corner, you feel the rear of the motorcycle, how far it's sliding around, or how it's laying down or standing up or whatever. And so you're always on the motorcycle, you're always adjusting, from millisecond to millisecond. You don't even think about it, your body just does it.
Yeah. You got to use your body becomes a part of the motorcycle.
Oh, very, very much so. As you're going into the corner, you start leaning over and you slide forward in the seat. And then as you're coming out of the corner, you start pushing, you take your legs, and push on the foot pegs and start sliding your butt to the back of the bike. So you're putting weight over that rear wheel as much as you can so you can get traction.
Yep. And then
So,
if you notice, like a lot of the asphalt bike racers, they use their knee just like you use your toe in dirt flat track racing, but they
yeah,
use their knee in the
yeah,
same way that you use that toe in dirt racing.
yeah,
It's pretty
yeah,
interesting, eh?
yeah. It's that sport was for many years my very first love when it comes to racing, but sprint cars has replaced it. It's probably due to my age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Craig.
All right. So I guess so. You said that your family said no more motorcycle racing for you. So you did some trucking, but before you actually got involved in the sprint cars, I understand you did you dabbled in some go-kart racing a little bit. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was the same time of the year that that I learned that the Southern Ontario Sprints has started up, and I had signed up with this group in Hamilton. There's I think it's different owners, but they're still running this go-kart track, and they would have leagues or teams of I don't know what you call it, but they'd have different groups of drivers. You'd pay so much money, and you could be part of this thing, and everybody would race each other in your group on certain nights. They have a schedule, or okay, Tuesday night you're out there with your group, and every Tuesday you're going to race your group. Somebody would become a champion out of that group, and then they'd take the champions from all the groups, and then they'd race those guys, and whoever was the champion there got who knows what. I didn't stick around long enough to find out, but yeah, I tried that one weekend, and they got mad at me because this was on asphalt, and they said I was driving the go-kart all wrong. They said I was sideways way before the corner was even there, and I was trying to catch this little boy, a 10-year-old boy. I'm at this point I'm like a 39-year-old man, and I'm trying to catch this young fella. And he was 75 pounds lighter than I was, and he had super sticky tires on. There was no way in the world I was going to catch him. I put the go-kart up on 2 wheels, and they yelled at me and got mad at me and told me that I wasn't driving right. And I said, well, I got to go. This isn't for me. I want to go.
Goes back to that hockey thing, eh? With the coaches telling you what to do, for God's sake.
Well, it wasn't
Go out
that
there and
bad.
drive.
It was still fun, but the guy said, you ever hear of a brake pedal? And I says, oh, you mean the coward pedal? No, we go sideways and shove it in the corner for all our worth. I'm trying to catch this kid.
Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
No, I just I think that I think you got some pictures of his sprint cars there that we're gonna move on to.
Yep. Let's move into the sprint car now. So you went sprint car racing. Talk about wing sprints. Talk about.
Well, when I got into sprint cars, I got asked to be an official, and I was an official for a couple of years, and I ended up buying a car off the president. It was a 1987 Gambler. And that picture of it is there with the black and red and white stripe. That picture there. That's the very last night of the season in 2002. It took me 5 years to squeeze enough money out of my trucking operation to build a car. And that picture there was during the heat race. In the hot laps, my top wing had, I'll use the word imploded. It had collapsed. Sadly, the fellow that made it, and he did a wonderful job building that wing. With what he had to build it with, the tooling he had was just, I couldn't do it. But anyways, he built the wing, and he got shipped some inferior aluminum that was weak, was the wrong alloy. But he built the wing, and it worked fine for a while. And then hot laps, it folded up. So I didn't have a spare wing, and my friends were asking me, what are you going to do? And I says, well, going out there without wings. Well, you can't do that. It's a wing series. I said, yeah, well, watch me. So so I went to the president at the time, and I said, I'll just start me tail in the heat race. I don't have a spare wing, but, I paid my entry fee. I'll go out there and just have some fun. And I had a couple of people. One guy who was a crew chief of another team got right ignorant with me, right angry with me for going out there without wings, and I told him where he could stick his opinion. And then I actually had a couple of people come up to me that didn't know any better and said, "Don't go out there without a wing on. You're gonna die." And I said, "Really? I'm gonna die because I don't have a wing on?" Do you realize that they only put wings on sprint cars, around 1970? But they were racing them for 30 or 40 years before that, and everybody did okay. Sure, a few people died with safety issues. Wasn't like they have today, but today we have such great safety gear for drivers. It's if somebody gets hurt, it's usually a freak accident. But anyways, that I went out there in my heat race, and it just didn't clue in that I wasn't in a wing car anymore. I was in a non-wing car, and I was still trying to drive it like a wing car, and I was hammered down. I went off the end. I went off the end of the track every lap in corner 3, every time. And I don't know how I did it, but only the back tires would go over the edge. The fronts would stay up on the racetrack. I'm just kind of hanging over the edge, kind of sliding around the corner, and it would be full lock. I'd be like, the wheels are all the way to the right on the front, and I'm kind of playing with the throttle, trying to keep the car going without stalling it and keeping it going. Finally, she'd go. But while I was in that angled position without the wings on the car, I could see everybody in the grandstands. I could see where all my competitors on the racetrack were. I could see everybody in the pits, and I thought, man, this is great. I can see the whole place. These wings suck. Yep. That's not said to offend anybody that loves wing racing. It's anyways. So Aaron Crocker was leading the heat race, and I stayed out there, and I kept, because I was doing this every lap in corner 3. I just kept watching her and seeing how close she was getting to me. I didn't want to get in her way, so about 6 laps out of 8, I pulled into the infield and just sat there and went, "Yeah, no, this is great."
But you had your fun for the night.
Oh, that was that. I had more fun in those 6 laps than I had the whole season.
That's
so non-wings probably been it for me probably all my life, because as a little boy, I would watch USAC on Wild World of Sports every chance I could. And they never had wings, they still don't today. And that's it. I'm a non-wing guy.
Awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
Well, you know what? I'm a Fender stock car fan. That's my primary thing, but I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of sprint cars. In fact, a couple of my buddy Frosty, Doug Frost and Alan Arsenal and I, we go to the Brad Doty Classic at Attica Speedway. I haven't during the COVID crisis, but I love to go watch those guys run down there, and that they've got Donnie Schatz and the Blaney's and Little Rico. Man, I get right into that, and I can see as fans, that's why they all come out to watch, whether it's spring or whether wing sprint cars or non-wing sprint cars. It draws a lot of fans, and that's pretty cool to see that. They love to see those things. They're those short little wheelbases, the light cars have big horsepower. It's just a treat to watch that. I can see why you would get excited to get in something like that. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Craig.
All right, Kenny. So Ontario Traditional Sprints. Let's talk about that a little bit. That series you're helping out with. What's going on with the Ontario Traditional Sprints, and what can we expect to see on Friday? What can the fans expect to see on Friday? Tell us a little bit about the OTS, if you would.
Well, this will be our inaugural race. We've never, this is something that we all got together with as we kind of went on a mission in the end of the season last year to see what the possibilities would be for tracks in Ontario giving us some races. some dates. So we've worked hard over the winter. We've got a very short rule book. I think there's only 7 rules for the cars, and there's about 12 rules for driver safety. So we really want to keep a very, very diminutive rule book so that, people weren't, all they don't get all bent out of shape over rules. And we wanted to make it so that doesn't matter what kind of sprint car you have, you can come and play. The only thing is really it's got to be a V8 and North American made. So any crate engine sprint car, 360, 327, 289, anything you could put together. You want to throw an alcohol carburetor on it, as long as it's running on methanol, you're good to go. So we really want to make this as affordable as possible for anybody that wants to come and do this. It's just I don't want to say it's designed not to be an expensive racing series to be involved with. You could easily, take the wings off a crate car and come and play. And I think at SOMS it's going to favor maybe a crate car on some nights. I think SOMS might go a little dry slick on some nights, and which means that if you've got a big motor, if you've got a 410 or a good running 360 or something like that, you might have to lift a little earlier or be only half or 3/4 throttle, where the crate guy could put his foot to the floor and leave it there longer than maybe somebody with a bigger motor. So we feel that crate engines, 360s, 410s, and any combination between that, throw it in the sprint car roller and come and play, and you're going to have some fun. A non-wing car typically is far more affordable to operate than a wing car. You don't have wings. I saw somebody post here in Canada the other day. They had some wings for sale. These were brand new nose and top wings, and the price was somewhere around $1,300. So never mind painting them, powder coating them, doing whatever you got to do to them. The wing stands, the hydraulics to run the top wing, all that stuff. Right there, you're $1,300 cheaper to run a car with us. And you don't have to have brand new stuff. You don't have to have the best of the best. Just put a car together and come and play with us, and you're going to use less methanol than a wing car because you're going to be lifting out your foot out of it. We're just happy that that SOMS saw the vision, saw what we were trying to do, wanted to do something different, didn't mind taking a chance on a brand new series, and has given us 5 dates this year. So we're pretty happy.
Absolutely, and we are really looking forward to having you guys here. Rob, do you have any questions about the OTS or any of that?
Yeah, I was just as Kenny was talking, I was thinking about the tires as another thing that might not be as expensive. You probably don't go through a lot of front tires as much as you do the rear tires. Most of those sprint cars are basically they're rear steer cars, aren't they? You rely on your stagger and your brakes. You only have one left front brake and usually one disc and caliper on the rear axle. It's a straight axle, but a cool thing that when you look at these sprint cars and the size of the right rear tire and the left rear tire, and that's a key thing to make them turn. But there can be as much as 16 inches difference in the rear tire stagger. They could have like a 90 to 96 left rear tire and 105 to 108 right rear tire. I mean, you stand on the gas and these things turn. I could imagine they must be a handful to drive down the straightaway. Maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit, Kenny.
Yeah, you you kind of generalize where you want to go, you know, because you might be going nice and straight for a few feet, and then all of a sudden the car will start to turn one way or the other. And I think that's because one tire might get on a little stickier bit of clay than the other side of the car. So it's kind of you're kind of quasi aiming where you want to go. It's not like on pavement where you can stand on it and it's going to go straight. It's a generalized directional type of car. Yeah, that much stagger, you're not going to run that in a non-wing car. You're probably going to be somewhere around 6 to 8 inches, or maybe even less. It all depends. All depends on the track and track condition. So that's, you know, to have 16 inches of stagger, that's a wing thing, and that's probably a tight quarter mile kind of idea. I don't think you're going to see us guys on Friday night running that much, anywhere near that much stagger at SOMS.
Well, just to compare it, like most late models will run anywhere from maybe 2.5 to 3.5 inches rear tire stagger. So it's when you've got that much, I'm thinking to myself, geez, that's got to be a handful. That thing must twitch down that straightaway. And you steer it with a throttle, don't you? You touch the brake maybe to get yourself into the turn, and then you throttle the thing out. So it'd be really cool to drive.
Yeah, it's kind of momentum, and brings that rear end around on you. You're not trying to go sideways, because when you're going sideways, you're not going forward, you're not going fast. But it's just a light car with a lot of power, and it's easy to do. Yeah, so front tires. You mentioned front tires. They probably last quite a while. Non-wing cars, they wheelie a lot coming out of the corners, so that helps the wear on the front tires, because you don't wear them out when they're not on the ground. So
yeah, pretty interesting. It's anyway. Turn it back over to you, Craig.
All right, so Kenny, you're not only working for the organization or working with the series, but you're also a competitor. You got a car that you're getting ready. Let's talk about what's going on at your shop there.
Oh, major secrets. I'm not spilling my guts here for nothing. It's gonna be it's in process. We were hoping that it was gonna get out this year, but I mean, even if somebody gave us, $5 million, some of the parts and pieces that I want in the car, this may be my last car build. I don't know. So I'm going to build it the way I want. Not going to listen to anybody else. I'm going to build it the way I want. And some of the things I want, I've decided I want brand new components of, and some of the manufacturers are telling me 5 months till we get those parts. So even if a miracle happened, I might make the last race of the season, but I pretty much know it's not going to happen. So we're focusing on 2023. The car pictured there, it's going to be all black. It's going to have a black powder coated frame. The scoop will be gone. There won't be a scoop on the hood. It'll be a large 360 cubic inch engine with a much different fuel system. It's still running methanol, obviously. What else can I say about the car? It's got a unique rear suspension to it. It won't have a magneto for ignition. It'll be run with a distributor battery for numerous reasons for that. Electric water pump. Just doing a few things different, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, Kenny, you mentioned that most guys run either a Maxim or an Eagle chassis. What chassis is that?
That's an Eagle. And there's lots of other chassis manufacturers out there, really, really good ones. There's Triple X. That's kind of an Eagle Maxim knockoff, and there's lots of companies around that are making really great chassis these days. I just happen to get my hands on this thing, and It was wrecked. It was down there at Tony Bieber's in Ohio, and he kind of talked me into buying it, and so I did, and wasn't sure what I was going to do because COVID came around, and I actually wanted to go USAC Silver Crown racing, but then COVID came around, and the Indiana State Fairgrounds dropped the Hoosier 100, which is a race I wanted to be at all my life with my own car. I really wanted to do that with a motorcycle when I was younger and did not. So that was something I wanted to knock off my bucket list before I took the dirt nap. So, but that can't happen now because they don't have car racing at the Indiana State Fairgrounds anymore. So I kind of got upset with the Silver Crown concept of project and where I was heading with it, and I said nuts to it, shove that in the corner, and we'll buy a car, and I'll go non-wing with the Michigan group and Boss out of Ohio, and then my friends came to me and said, let's start another series in Ontario, and I went, oh, all right. So here we are.
Awesome.
I mentioned, I just wanted to, before, because this is about, I don't know how many times we'll get a chance to talk to a sprint car guy, but I often put you guys in the same sort of category as the midget racers. And you mentioned Indiana, and I know you and I talked about Mel Kenyon and his story of he was a midget racer from Indiana, and how he was burned in a fire. He got his hand burned off, and how he overcame that obstacle. He made a glove with this little metal bung in it, and on his steering wheel it was kind of like a tractor steering wheel, where he just put this little spud into his glove, and he steered the car like that, and he won like that. He overcame that obstacle. That wasn't going to stop him, and that story and his book is a fascinating read. And it's all sort of part and parcel when you talk about Indiana and sprint car racing, and it just that kind of stuff it's a great interest of mine to learn about these people and the story behind them. So not to bore you guys with all this, but because this is a sprint car thing, and we got some sprint car stuff coming up this weekend. Those are, if anybody's interested, read the Mel Kenyon story. It's just a great read.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right. So whenever you get that car ready and get some stickers and some numbers and stuff on it, you're going to be running the number 82. Is there any significance to that number? Why number 82? Does it mean something to you, or want to talk about that number a little bit?
Sure. I'm a believer. I'm a Christian, and I want to honor the Lord with my racing, and that number numerically and biblically means the throne of God. So 82 is in honor of the Lord.
Okay. Excellent. Rob, do you have any other questions about that?
Well, thanks for sharing that, Kenny. That's
I've got lots of stuff, Rob, and all you got to do, call me anytime. I'll bore you to death all day long.
No, you won't. No, you won't. You can't. If it has anything to do with racing or being a believer in our Lord Jesus Christ, I'm interested in talking about it.
Right on. Okay.
All right.
All right. So, Kenny, you got if there's any young drivers coming up in the series, or if they think they want to come into the series, or they're thinking about it anyway, what kind of advice would you have for a young driver that wants to get into one of these wingless sprints? What's one piece of advice you'd tell somebody that wants to come out and try and have what they call is fun, that you guys are having fun?
Oh, I would find yourself an economical roller, because you certainly don't need the best of the best of the best. And come and talk to us, and we could help you figure out how to put a very affordable engine campaign together. There's lots of stuff out there for sale at decent prices, and you can probably you could probably put a good non-wing car together, you know, for 20 grand or less. That's, in this day and age, that's a pretty affordable car. And you know, if you build a non-wing car, probably it's going to last more than a wing car. Well, I know lots of people down in the Midwest US that you know, they run all aluminum 410s and they'll go 40 shows before they need to be freshened. I mean, you can't do that if you're, you know, an all-star team or a World of Outlaw team. You're going to be freshening your drive line a lot sooner. So the non-wing stuff's really affordable. You won't use as much fuel. You just a non-wing car that doesn't wear out stuff as fast. So affordable kind of racing. Come and talk to us. We'd love to help any young person or middle-aged person or senior person, people older than me. We'd love to help you get into a non-wing car because it's a lot of fun, and we plan on making the series an enjoyable thing to get involved with, and we'll help anybody.
Awesome. And if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to you on social media, or they can find the OTS Facebook page. Is that the kind of the best way to get a hold of somebody if they want to ask some questions?
Yeah, our rules are on the website, which is Ontario Traditional Sprints, full words, nothing in between them.ca. And you can, all our contact information for the board of directors is on there. So just get with one of us. We'll all be very happy to help you. If you already have a car and you're a wing guy and you're thinking about, you're scratching your chin going, geez, I wonder if I should do that or not. Well, just get with us and we'll tell you what you might like to learn about how to set up a car, because you don't need to really change a whole lot from your wing car to make it non-wing. You don't. Basically take the wings off, lower it a bit, and come and play. You don't need a 53-inch front axle. Nice to have. You don't have to have it. You don't have to have non-wing bird cages. Nice to have. You don't have to have it. So if you want to come and try this with us, there's no membership fee this year. We were going to charge drivers $50 registration for the season, and we waived that because we were looking at the price of fuel to tow. And I thought, man, it's always going to cost a fortune to get to and from the racetrack. So let's make it as easy for our competitors as we can. So come and race with us. Have some fun. Take the wings off. You won't wreck your wings if you flip your non-wing car. You know, but heaven forbid you don't flip at all. Just come and have some fun. It's affordable racing, and we're looking to make this a very fun thing to do.
Absolutely. And wings or no wings, we definitely don't want to see any sprint cars flipping this weekend or any weekend you guys come and see us, or any other racetrack for that matter. Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
No, we just plan on flipping burgers, not race cars. So
that's right.
Ask. So I think does Kenny have any sponsors he wants to talk about, or any swag?
Not me. No, personally, no. The OTS doesn't have any of that either. We do have some sponsors. We had the good fortune being sponsored by Mr. Glenn Stiers. He helped us get our series going, so very nice of him to do that. We are sponsored by Epic Racewear. We got a brand new nifty cool canopy coming. Should be here tomorrow. You'll see that, and our lovely official shirts, again by Epic Racewear. Thank you very much, Epic Racewear, for what you did for us. Very kind. And I'll let this cat out of the bag right now. It's a small, very kind sponsorship from Bennett Enterprises is coming on board, probably going to start our second race in the season. So we're going to get a little help from Bennett Enterprises out of Indiana. So I just also want to say, if you get yourself a non-wing car and want to run with us, that car, because of the way we've set up our rules, that car is probably going to fit right in with the Boss Series in Ohio, the group in Michigan. You don't have to just race with us. You could race with all kinds of other series around the bottom part of Lake Erie, and you know, you probably go to Waynesfield and run there, and you know, any of the tracks down in Indiana, show up and go play. So yeah, you're not just stuck here in Ontario. If you build a non-wing car to run with us, you can run a lot of places. So we wanted the rule book to be that way.
Okay, perfect.
So,
Rob, do you have any other questions about any of that?
No, that's it for me.
All right. Well, Kenny, I, if you don't mind, if you have time, I got a little favor I'd like to ask of you. If you could.
Oh, here it comes.
Yeah, I got a little something here. I got a little favor to ask you. I need your help with something. Would you mind sticking around here for a couple of minutes and just give me a hand with that?
Anything for you guys.
All right. Well, fans, we're happy to announce.
Can I say something first?
Sure.
Yeah. Anybody that wants to ask questions about non-wing racing or just talk to drivers of that, we'll hang around after the races are over. Come and visit us in the pits. We got a really nice tent that you can stand under and ask us questions. We'd love to meet our fans.
All right. Awesome.
All right. On to your favor.
Here's my favor, Kenny. Fans, we're happy to announce that we're going to be raffling off a Steve Kinser autographed jacket, a Steve Kinser autographed racing jacket. The draw date is going to be on June 6th. We're going to have all the details posted in the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Fan Zone Facebook group. So make sure you're getting over there to check out all that. The draw is going to be on June 6th of this year. But Kenny, can you tell us, if you don't mind, a little bit about Steve Kinser? You're a sprint guy. He's a sprint guy. What do we need to know about Steve Kinser that's very, very important about how wonderful he is?
As far as I know, winningest World of Outlaw driver ever, but that was a few years ago. That may have been eclipsed. I'm not sure. I don't follow the World of Outlaws too much, so I don't know. But he was at one point the winningest sprint car driver with the World of Outlaws. Had the most championships with that series. Outstanding. Just an outstanding competitor. Him and Sammy Swindell used to go at it a lot, and I on the racetrack and off. A fellow that just passed away a little while ago, published Sprint Car Midget magazine, Doug Auld. Doug told me one day, he said, "Oh yeah, either or Sammy or Steve would pull up after a race was over at the other guy's pit and get out, and it was a fist fight brawl." So sprint car people can be exciting. Anyways, Steve was just a fantastic competitor, and a story I read about him one time, he had flipped his sprint car, and the guy who was telling the story said that car was absolute stinking junk. There was nothing left of it, but they patched it back together. It was twisted up, mangled, shocks were leaking, things were busted. It was ugly, dirty, filthy, rotten. He shouldn't have been driving it. Steve jumped in it, strapped in, they bumped him off. He went out there and won. So you don't always have to have the best of stuff to win. You just have to have the desire. So
excellent.
Pretty cool guy.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I think something like 12 Knoxville Nationals, 7 Kings Royals, and I think in 1987 he won 22 of the last 24 races. So
yeah, I think in 87 and 88, 87 anyways, but maybe 88 as well. He was the Gambler Sprint Car Company house driver, factory driver.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, fans, if you want to get in on that raffle, the jacket, we're going to be doing the draw on Monday, June 6th. So that's going to be on SOMSpotlight. So you're going to want to tune in for that. Also, you'll be able to buy the tickets this weekend, which, it'd be a perfect weekend. We got two nights of sprints, so come on down. We're going to be selling tickets for the raffle for that draw. So come on out to the racetrack. Lots of cool stuff going on. So make sure you're getting in on that draw. We'll post the details about that later. As far as Kenny Bayliss goes, Kenny, this has been a really good conversation. We like to talk to you sprint people. I don't have any other questions for you. Rob, you got any other questions for Kenny Bayliss before we let him go?
No, but he and I talked about Steve Kinser a little bit, and Kenny told me that Steve was actually a state wrestling champion
Yes, as
in
a
his high
teenager in
school.
high school.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
his not it wasn't his uncle Carl, because we talked about Carl was very instrumental in Steve's career. Who was the guy you're telling? His dad. His dad was really short and stocky.
Yeah, his
And
dad
when
was
your
a
center
very
of gravity,
strong man.
when your center of gravity that low,
Yeah.
you could do some damage. But he
Yeah.
was a wrestler, so
Yeah.
it's not a guy to be messed with.
No, his dad either. His dad was pretty famous for setting some people straight after the races were over.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, like I said, Kenny, I got no more questions for you. You have any questions you want to ask me before we let you get out of here?
No, I don't think so. Just, looking forward to putting on the best show we possibly can Friday night, and we just hope everybody enjoys it. It's the only non-wing sprint car stuff north of the border. So we'll do our best to put on the best show. And if you're thinking about how much you'd like to go non-wing racing, come and talk to us. We'll help you all day long. We'll help you source equipment and tell you what you really need and what you don't think you need and all that stuff. So be happy to help anybody who wants to get into it, and looking forward to making some fans.
Awesome. Yep, for sure. So fans, get out to Southern Ontario Motor Speedway this Friday night. The Ontario Traditional Sprints are going to be here for the first time in 2022. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be action-packed. So you're definitely going to want to get out to the racetrack and check all of that out. Well, Kenny, we appreciate your time very much. We really appreciate you jumping on here and talking about the OTS a little bit. We look forward to seeing you and all of your gang down here and all your drivers down here on Friday night. Hopefully everybody will make it down. We hope we have a good car count, and it's lots of exciting racing going on this weekend, because
thank you very much for having us. We're happy to have SOMS as our home track, and we're looking to grow, and we're just thanks for having me on, and looking forward to seeing you guys Friday night.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Thank you once again for your time, Kenny, and take care of yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, have a great night. Yeah, bye for now.
Bye for now. All right, Rob. Well, there you go. We know a little bit more about the OTS. We know a little bit more about driver Kenny Bayliss. What do you think of all that conversation?
Well, from a business standpoint, when it comes to sprint cars, they put a lot of fans in the grandstands, and somehow we, at the end of the day, we have to pay the bills, right? And so the more of them that we can have, and it would be great. It'd be great to have, there's probably 10 different series of cars we could have race at the track, but unfortunately we can't have them all at one night. And but we do get these guys to come in every now and again, and it's fun to talk to them. It's really cool to learn a little bit more about their racing series and whatnot. And yeah, it doesn't matter though. When it comes to racing, it's fun to talk about racing.
So, yes, it is. At the end of the day, a car is a car, and if it's on the racetrack, we're all happy people, aren't we?
Yep.
Definitely. All right, fans. Well, if you want to check out the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Fan Zone Facebook group, you're going to want to get over there. We got all kinds of stuff going on, and with the season coming up, we're going to have pictures, we're going to have videos, we're going to have contests and giveaways and draws, and who knows what all is going to be happening on the Fan Zone group. So make sure you get over there. Also, check out the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Facebook page. Check that out for all of the events and everything else that I just mentioned as well, except for the giveaways. We don't do that there, just for information. And also SOMSpotlight. That's our YouTube channel. Make sure you check out SOMSpotlight. You can see Kenny Bayliss's interview, as well as all of the other interviews that we have done so far. So there we go. That's all I got for everybody. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Make sure you join us next Monday for SOMSpotlight at 7 o'clock. SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Rob. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.